Welcome to the Watchtower Database. This is another episode of 12th Level Intellects. My name is James Strecker. With me, as per usual, is Mr. Ted Kendrick.
Hi, that's me.
And today we have our special guest human, Maddie Washburn.
Hello, that's also me.
Well, yeah. That's now you. It's only just now.
Yeah.
Maddie does the DCAU timeline Tumblr blog that we'll link below in the description. We're taking a little bit of a break from our regularly scheduled program to talk about a hot topic in the DC animation circle. Whether or not the Teen Titans anime is considered part of the DC animated universe. Shows such as Batman the Animated Series, Superman, Batman Beyond, Justice League, Static Shock, Zeta Project, Gotham Girls web series, because why not?
Well, Gotham Girls is definitely part of the DC animated universe, but
just gotta throw that in there.
Just saying. So the Titans were first mentioned as being a part of the DC animated universe in an episode of Static Shock, which was the first episode of season 3, titled Hard as Nails, which featured Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn.
And Nails.
Yeah, and Nails was a metahuman, a bang baby.
Famous
Right.
DC Comics character Nails.
Yeah. So Static goes to the Batcave and he's talking with Batman and he asks where's Robin. He met Tim Drake's Robin in a previous episode titled The Big Leagues.
So where's Robin?
With the Titans.
The who?
You'll meet him someday.
And then, of course, Static never does meet them, but, it was put out there. But yeah, it's not really sure what version of the Titans they're referring to. A lot of fans at the time thought it was the one from the anime, but they were on different channels. Static Shock was on Kids WB, and Titans was on Cartoon Network. And obviously, they have very different animation styles. I'll let someone else talk
I just want both of y'all to know you're going to catch hell from someone in the comments for calling Teen Titans an anime.
It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender level anime.
On top of that, obviously, Kid Flash exists in both of the universes. His costume scene in the Justice League Unlimited series, in the episode Flash and Substance in the museum. Beast Boy is mentioned in another episode of Static Shock by Bernie Rast.
I can't get Robin. Hey, what about the kid in the Titans? Yeah, the green one. I can send a limo right now.
Speedy's also been shown to exist in both universes. He was in Justice League Unlimited's episode The Patriot Act, showing up right next to Green Arrow. Gizmo was mentioned once again in Static Shock. Bernie Rast called Gear.
Bernie Rast was Little Romeo's manager, right?
Yeah,
he's in a couple other episodes.
But he referred to Gear as Gizmo, and Gear had to correct him.
Yeah, how's it going, Gizmo?
My name is Gear.
Yeah, love the new name.
Most people point that to Teen Titans being in the same universe as the DCAU because of these characters that cross over and they have the same voice actors and the same costumes. And honestly, to me, it seems more like just kind of a tribute. Like when Speedy shows up, it's just, they used the design from Teen Titans either as paying tribute to the cartoon or they didn't want to design a brand new Speedy design for just half an episode. But the voice actor thing is definitely, to me, something that does not point to it's in the same universe. In the Justice League episode Wild Cards, we have the Royal Flush Gang is voiced by all the main Teen Titans cast as like a sort of inside joke.
Time to find out just how fast you are.
Here's the thing. Superman just tossed me halfway across town. I'm taking it out on you.
Even just that is kind of evidence that, we're just paying homage to the Teen Titans cartoon that's on at the same time. Like, hey, we're just having some fun with it.
I think a better representation of, I guess, the argument of voice actors and character designs don't mean it's in continuity is the Superman Brainiac Attacks direct-to-video. The producers and everything said no, that even though they use DCAU design, DCAU voice actors, it's not DCAU. There's too many incongruities in it.
Right. It was just kind of like a slap together, like last minute thing. The Superman Returns movie was coming out, and Warner Brothers wanted to capitalize on the Superman popularity at the time. And
also talking about character designs, you've got Batman the Animated Series, which features Dick Grayson's Robin in college. And the version of Robin in Teen Titans seems much younger, but he's set in a world with all this high, state-of-the-art technology, whereas Batman the Animated Series had a lot of retro, black
old
and
white
cars.
TVs.
Yeah, black and white TVs. Their universes don't even sync up, really.
Because in the Teen Titans series, it's heavily alluded to that the Robin is Dick Grayson, which is part of why it won't fit in with Static's appearance, because Static had met Tim Drake and not Dick Grayson as Robin. We see in How Long Is Forever, 20 years in the future, Robin being Nightwing. In the Teen Titans episode Fractured, Robin's extra-dimensional counterpart, Larry, shows up, and his name is, I'm probably going to butcher the pronouncing, but Nasirag Kid.
You have a lot of imps in the fifth dimension who are mad at you right now.
But, which is Dick Grayson backwards. In the episode Haunted, we see silhouettes of the Flying Grayson's death, which, I mean, they're not labeled as the Flying Graysons then, so people can say that's still ambiguous. But then in Teen Titans Go number 47, it's got a poster of the Flying Graysons on Robin's wall in his room. So it seems like there's no doubt about it, their Robin was Dick Grayson. So if it's going to fit into the DCAU, then we'd have to assume that it occurs before Batman the Animated Series, roughly around 1992 from all evidence that I've gathered. And Static Shock, because of all of the pop culture icons and everything, is in the early 2000s. So even if Teen Titans were to exist as a cartoon within the DCAU, it couldn't be the same team by the time Batman and Static are teaming up, because that's about an 8-year difference. If you're 13 in 1992, you're going to be 21 in 2001. You know, you're not going to be in the Teen Titans anymore. You're going to be in the Young Adult Titans.
But, people will still try to shove in, okay, if Robin in Teen Titans is Dick Grayson, then it would have to happen, between Robin's Reckoning timeline and what is it called, Old Wounds, that's based on where he stops being Robin. Yeah, so it would have to happen before even the first episode of the animated series normal timeline.
Yeah. The 10th episode of the 5th season was titled Go. It was a prequel to the rest of the series.
They fight the Gordanians.
I guess in that episode he says that I just moved here and from now on I work alone, which would imply that he's what we've seen in Old Wounds, him quitting being Robin has already happened. But yeah, he's by that point he's already graduated college. He's definitely different.
The Gordanians have different character designs for both Teen Titans and their appearance in Justice League. And if Teen Titans were to happen at some point within the DCAU before Batman the Animated Series, then the Justice League would already be aware of the Gordanians existing, and their appearance in the episode of Starcrossed would be questioned much more than it is, as well as that would be an easy way to tie in the Teen Titans series, which they chose not to do.
And there were a couple other instances in the comic books with the Justice League appearing, looking very similar to their DC Animated Universe counterparts. So when Speedy appears in Justice League, he's there right next to Green Arrow, but we never see Kid Flash standing next to the Flash in either Teen Titans or Justice League. In fact, in Justice League, it's implied that the Flash, who's Wally West, has the origin of Barry Allen. He's struck by lightning in a crime lab. And for all intents and purposes, he is Barry Allen's character with Wally West's name and personality.
Yeah.
Even though, there is the costume of Kid Flash in the museum, there's just never any evidence that Barry Allen ever existed as the Flash.
What I was going to say to that is that Speedy and Kid Flash on Teen Titans are, roughly the same age as each other, whereas if Wally West on Justice League used to be Kid Flash and it's the same Kid Flash, then Speedy at this point should also be, in his late 30s or something like that, and lining up.
They would have been in the same age group as Nightwing.
Yeah.
Which in fact there's an issue of Batman Beyond 2.0 where the Flash is working alongside Nightwing, very much grounded in the DC Animated Universe. And so it has this banter between Nightwing and Flash, Wally West Flash, that implies that they've been longtime friends, but this is the very first and last scene we will ever see of them together in the DCAU.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's possible that Wally on Justice League is Nightwing's age. I mean, there's nothing to say he isn't. I mean, he does seem like the youngest of the founding members, but he seems more closer in age to Batman and Superman than he is to Nightwing or Speedy.
I guess since he brought up the Batman Beyond comic, though, we could talk about that. I know as far as you guys are concerned, you don't really see it as canon, but the Teen Titans are actually mentioned multiple times in the new Flash's origins. She was mentioning her dad was a transportation engineer at Star Labs, and was working alongside a former Titan, which you can see Cyborg in the background.
You know, that Batman Beyond comic panel is the only evidence we really have that Vic Stone's Cyborg is part of the DC animated universe in any way. The only DCAU cyborgs that are like official that we've seen before are in the unaired Justice League pilot. Warner Brothers wanted to include more younger, kid-friendly characters like Robin. We have also Impulse in there. And they have like a redone if Cyborg was a girl kind of a thing. So it's like a girl cyborg. We've been calling her Cyborg Girl. There's also a Cyborg action figure that came out as part of the Justice League Unlimited line of figures. There is much more kind of I don't know who designed it.
It's based off the 80s version. It's based off like the Galactic Super Friends, when Cyborg was in that cartoon.
And that design also is used for a number of children's books, how to draw kind of books and coloring books. Yeah, it must be in kind of like the Warner Brothers vault. If they need to use Cyborg, this is always the model sheet that they'll end up using for whatever reason.
And another one in the Justice League Beyond, I want to say it's the Brain Trust was looking on their computers at I guess heroes that were still active. And they said that there's a new Titans group around. And then in Superman Beyond, Superman's talking to Starfire saying that it's been a long time since she's been on Earth. So it seems to imply that whether she was Titans or not, she was kind of there at some point.
There's plenty of tie-in material that doesn't contradict. But the first couple of issues of Batman Beyond, the tie-in comics, they started around 2007 or so. They carried on through the 2.0 series. The first few of them referenced events like Hush, Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, Batman Incorporated, all these events from the comic books that we never saw actually play out in the DC animated universe. So you can't, it was just the writers of those series like just kind of having everything, and just picking and choosing what they wanted to reference.
Right, it's definitely an amalgam of some sort.
Yeah, and ultimately Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, nobody was really involved in that. So
yeah, there's little things sprinkled here and there. Like I guess there's like a movie poster for a movie called Wicked Scary that's seen on both shows. That to me seems like something that's just kind of an inside joke, like Bruce Timm using soda a lot,
which is something from the comic books like too. Soda Cola,
yeah,
and Big Belly Burger.
We have a screenshot that I'll put on screen from that Maddie took from the Superman the Animated Series special features. It says, along with Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series established a new DC animated universe, which has been expanded to include Batman Beyond, Justice League, and Teen Titans. And this was like a trivia, little pop-up video kind of stuff during the episode. That reads to me just like some, you read the back of the DVD cases or you look at the artwork and like it doesn't line up. Like they'll use a Superman picture from Justice League and a Batman picture from something else, and it's the same thing. Like it's just some, seems like just whoever designed the DVD doesn't
Warner Brothers home entertainment intern.
Yeah.
Definitely an intern responsible for that one.
It's plausible to assume that because Batman mentioned that there is a Titans group in Static Shock, that at some point there probably was a team that consisted, if we count these Batman Beyond comics as canon, if we're trying to make that leap, that there probably was a group at some point that consisted of Cyborg and Starfire and Beast Boy and Speedy, those kind of characters that, would fit into that nicely. but they are likely not the exact same incarnations we see on the Teen Titans cartoon. Like, just because they exist in both. I mean, as evidence has been presented, there's not a strong enough argument to say that it is in the same continuity, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I am definitely in agreement.
Okay, so I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we all clap.
Like that. On one or after one?
On 0.